The subject of special effects is the impossible. Whether they're one-reel trick films or modern fantasy blockbusters, the best special effects movies turn it into a reality of its own. Welcome back to FilmShack. Today, we prepared for you the most famous movies before and after special effects. Number 13. The Tree of Life. No, the dinosaurs don't look great, but every other aspect of the extended Dawn of Time detour in Terrence Malick's The Tree of Life is transcendentally transfixing. For the roughly 20-minute sequence, which depicts nothing less than the birth of the universe and the first appearance and evolution of life on Earth, Malick lured 2001's Douglas Trumbull out of retirement. Together with effects supervisor Dan Glass, they alternated computer-generated imagery with real space photography and simple chemical techniques, like pouring fluorescent dyes into a tank of water, to visualize the mysterious, abstract cosmic processes of the Big Bang. The resulting symphony may be the most dazzling, brain-bending sequence since, well, the end of 2001. Number 12. Speed Racer.
Move it, Speed! It's getting ugly out there!
You know a film's special effects are something unusual when the net result is so unlike anything seen before that they actively repel audiences. The Wachowski Speed Racer has plenty of flaws, but outsized ambition in its effects isn't one of them. Like a live-action anime, combined with the freneticism and hypercolor unreality of its Saturday morning cartoon source material, the film provides a dizzying array of constantly moving imagery, from massive shape-shifting CGI backgrounds to car races that defy the laws of physics. The combined effect can be a bit overwhelming, but nothing comparable has been achieved in the decades since. Number 11. Doctor Strange.
You'll die protecting this world. I can't do this.
Superhero movies have become the dominant form of mega-budget Hollywood entertainment. But for all that's regularly spent on their spectacle, the genre rarely offers particularly memorable or extraordinary effects. Set in a world of powerful sorcerers, the kaleidoscopic Doctor Strange is the exception. A blockbuster that frequently puts its enormous resources toward truly astonishing eye candy, like a magical mystery tour that thrusts the title character through multiple planes of reality, or the Inception-indebted fight scenes, which fold whole cityscapes in on themselves. Time will tell how these grand illusions hold up, but for now, Doctor Strange is, in all senses of the word, the most wizardly of comic book extravaganzas. Number 10. The Matrix. The Matrix didn't invent bullet-time special effects. 1998's Blade beat it to the punch, as well as countless animes in decades prior. But it did execute the technique with greater panache than anyone before or arguably since. It helped that the Wachowskis justified the liquid-cooled gunfights narratively, via a pop philosophy dystopia explained in flashes of widescreen exposition. But over and above its central effect, the movie got a lot of mileage by merely blending reality. High-wire jumps, seamless camera transitions through a monitor, a high kick requiring exaggerated parkour. This blend of practical and digital holds up beautifully today, and whenever it doesn't, the film's fiction explains it away. We're all just streaming lines of code anyway. Number 9. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Rain and table scene.
Is every little peanut under there okay?
He's fine.
You know, do you have something to drink?
Would you drink a cocktail at this hour? I mean, I know it's not 5, but...
I would die for a vodka.
Oh, hang on. Let me check if I have it.
Okay.
Michael Gondry is an analog dreamer in a digital world. The papier-mâché-loving French fabulist prefers to pack his whimsical fantasias with practical effects, with CGI there to augment or mask sleight of hand that dates back to the early years of cinema. In Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Gondry uses innovative in-camera effects, frame-by-frame rotoscopy, disguised transitions, forced perspective, flipped shots, wire work, double exposure, and yes, a little digital trickery to drag viewers through the vanishing memories of Jim Carrey's heartbroken hero. The effects are casually, sometimes subtly magical, a perfectly intimate and affordable approach for a sci-fi relationship drama scaled to the mundane joys and hardships of modern romance. Number 8. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, like its similarly Eric Roth adapted cousin Forrest Gump, has some ostentatious and high-quality effects work, chased with subtler stunners. The former takes the form of imagining what a reverse-aging human might look like, as an infirm baby and an old man kid. But perhaps even more impressive is how later in the film, the Brad of 2008 is, through some motion capture and computer work, made to look like the Brad Pitt of 1994. This may not seem entirely necessary for the slow-aging, well-preserved Pitt, but similar processes, sometimes but not always as seamless, are now routinely used to unmoor Marvel's older actors from their present-day bodies, and will doubtlessly continue to give stars an uncanny flexibility through many years of aging to come. In Benjamin Button, it serves as a reminder that time has an uncanny effect all on its own. Number 7. Forrest Gump.
I never thanked you for saving my life.
Upon release, Forrest Gump's big-ticket effects were those that inserted its lead character into archival footage of historical figures, letting Tom Hanks act, however briefly and virtually, alongside the likes of John F. Kennedy and Richard M. Nixon. Those scenes still look fine, but they're also just digitally updated versions of Zelig's similar parlor trick from 1983. The real effects feats of Gump are less immediately visible and far more influential. The digital removal of Gary Sinise's legs so he could convincingly play a man with paraplegia, the digital sweetening of particularly gorgeous sunsets, and plenty more trickery that subtly adds both a heightened storybook richness and a larger sense of scale to this Robert Zemeckis boomer fantasia. Despite some narrative nostalgia, Gump portends a future Hollywood where every movie is an effects movie. Number 6. Independence Day.
Blow through! So many of them!
Digital effects from the mid-90s have aged notoriously poorly, but Roland Emmerich's 1996 blockbuster extravaganza of sci-fi destruction has fared better than most, thanks to its strategy of using CGI as a supplement to a more old-fashioned technique, blowing shit up really good. Visual effects supervisor Volker Engel estimates that 95% of the film's effects were achieved by actually blowing up miniatures. A 15-foot wide, 5-foot tall plaster model filled with dollhouse furniture was built for the film's famous White House explosion, shot with motion control cameras to maximize the flaming bombast. At the time, Independence Day was the most visual effects heavy film of its decade, with more than 500 effect shots. Some of them have aged better than others. The practical explosions retain a certain analog charm, while the film's creature effects, which thankfully are minimal, are now positively silly. Number 5. Jurassic Park.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
A masterclass in the use of special effects, Steven Spielberg's monster hit about a theme park run amok combined computer-generated and animatronic dinosaurs with the director's mastery of composition, pace, scale, and reaction shots, is an impeccable piece of entertainment and a self-reflexive cautionary tale, directed more at movie brats than at science nerds, about the perils of using technology without thinking things through. Even after 25 years, the rain-swept rumbling T-Rex set piece still thrills, but the dewy-eyed sentimental notes, the John Williams theme, the initial reveal of the dinosaurs, haven't depreciated either. It's all about the relationship between different parts. The ripple of the plastic cup of water, a simple effect created with a guitar string, is as important to the whole as the dino's ear-splitting roar. Number 4. Terminator 2: Judgment Day. James Cameron ushered audiences into the modern effects era with his perfect metaphor for the endless possibilities of CGI, the liquid metal T-1000, a relentless digital boogeyman capable of assuming any shape or form. But the enduringly exulterating Terminator 2, which boasts work from Jurassic Park effects guru Stan Winston, doesn't entrust all the spectacle to computers. It instead employs its then brand new technology only for what couldn't be done with old-fashioned and reliably awesome stunt work and pyrotechnics, to say nothing of the living special effect Arnold Schwarzenegger. Cameron, alas, would eventually put all his faith in the machines, which is why Avatar, as cutting edge as it once was, hasn't held up quite as well as this sentimental blockbuster. Number 3. Pan's Labyrinth.
Soy un fauno, vuestro más humilde súbdito arte.
Guillermo del Toro's films all feature remarkably crafted, meticulously detailed production design and special effects, but Pan's Labyrinth still stands as a personal best for the director in terms of the creature design, expertly blending fairy tale wonder and terror, practical and digital effects. Famed suit actor Doug Jones played the film's El Fauno character, using the character's feet as stilts, upon which he stood wearing green screen leggings. Jones's actual legs were removed in post-production, creating the illusion of legs that bent at an inhuman angle. Similarly, the film's Pale Man, also played by Jones, was a full-body costume, designed to resemble both a manta ray and the rolls of skin that come with an extreme weight loss. GI was later added to give movement to the character's instantly iconic eyeball hands. Number 2. Mad Max: Fury Road. By the time it hit theaters, George Miller's long-awaited, extremely expensive, the budget ended up being somewhere north of $150 million. Mad Max: Fury Road was heavily color-corrected and enhanced with seemingly blended CGI landscapes, dust storms, and flames, all of which, if you've ever seen a low-budget attempt to create CGI fire, are extremely impressive in themselves. But what really establishes Fury Road as the absolute pinnacle of contemporary special effects spectacle is its creative, death-defying practical stunt work, which Miller says made up 90% of the effects used in the film. Raw footage from the production shows absolutely insane crashes, explosions, and flips, all performed on custom-made post-apocalyptic moving vehicles. That's a real stuntman strapped to the front of a wall of speakers, playing a guitar outfitted with a real flamethrower, and real people precariously careening back and forth on flexible poles, as tons of raw metal zoom over the unforgiving desert beneath them. Number 1. John Carter. This 2012 film received a lot of praise for its visuals. There are many scenes in the film involving VFX. For instance, the various scenes involving the alien creatures. To create the alien in the scene where he approaches John, the actor wore a gray suit and a helmet fitted with a camera to capture facial gestures, which were later changed using CGI. Also, the scenes involving the giant buggies on which the characters travel was actually shot on a custom-made stand-in buggy. In many pictures and videos, you can see Andrew Stanton, the director, on set where he is directing the actor, before adding VFX, like the scene where John is sitting on a spaceship, surrounded by giant green screens. We would like to invite you to share your opinion with us. Do you agree with our list? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications bell. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!